So hello all and welcome to this video lecture on decision analysis, and in this video lecture we consider chapter 1, Brianna Brisk's rain gear. So this is a leading example, so relatively simple example that should introduce us the so-called decision matrix technique. And in the first section of this chapter 1, which is this video lecture, we consider first the problem description, so we tell what the problem is. Then we build a so-called decision matrix for this problem, and finally we consider the decision rule and the optimal decision. So what do we have? We have Brianna Brisk, who walks every day to her office and back. The journey is 10 kilometers, so Brianna is really brisk. And what is the problem? So Brianna has to decide what kind of gear to put on in the morning. And the problem in choosing the gear is that, okay, the weather is obvious when she walks to work, but in the afternoon when she travels back, the weather can be very different because Brianna lives in Vaasa, and probably everybody knows that in Vaasa the weather can change a lot during the day. So Brianna has decided between three alternatives: what to wear: a normal gear, an umbrella, or a raincoat. So these are the three alternatives Brianna has. And let's analyze a little bit what happens with different gear. So if the weather is dry, it is annoying to carry an umbrella, and the raincoat is always uncomfortable. If the weather is rainy but calm, a raincoat is a good choice, but a bit sweaty, an umbrella would be better. And if the weather is both rainy and windy, the umbrella is mostly useless because of the wind, and the raincoat should be the best choice in these cases. Okay, so what do we do next? We build the so-called decision matrix, which is also known as reward matrix for Brianna. And as we said, we have three alternatives, and these alternatives, or actions if you like, are usually denoted by A and then sub-index, so A1 is normal gear, A2 is umbrella, and A3 is a raincoat. So in addition to these different actions or alternatives, there are scenarios, so random things that can happen that can affect our decisions. So what are the scenarios related to these alternatives? They are, we pick it up from here, so we analyze a little bit of how normal gear, umbrella, or raincoat work. So it's important to know whether it's a dry weather, so we call this S1, S like scenario, S2 rainy but calm weather, and S3 rainy and wind weather. So these are the actions or alternatives from which we choose, and then we have scenarios that are related to this, what happens with these actions or alternatives. Then in this business, usually these scenarios have probabilities, so these are denoted by P1, P2, and P3, and they would be also important or relevant in this decision making. But let's have Brianna to be weather forecast critical, so she does not bother to contemplate the probabilities of different scenarios, so she bases her decision only on the scenarios and not on their probabilities. So these probabilities is something that we don't have to figure out what they are now, which is a good thing because it's not so clear. Maybe the weather forecast could tell us them, but now we are not using them in this example. So now we have to build a decision matrix or reward matrix, and so this reward matrix is the consequences of saying what is the reward we get, for example, choosing an umbrella A2 given that it happens that we have a rainy and windy weather S3. And all these pairs are there. So it's a matrix where the rows are these actions or alternatives and the columns are these scenarios. And how does Brianna measure the consequences of her actions? That is the rewards. And she uses subjective comfort. So this is a subjective measure. She just decides them somehow. And these are numbers from the scale 0 to 100%. And the rewards are based on the following facts. So normal gear is good choice for dry weather, but the worst possible choice for rainy weather. Carrying an umbrella is slightly annoying, and an umbrella is useless in windy weather. And a raincoat is safe choice for any weather, but it's slightly uncomfortable. So these are the ideas or things that affect or based on which the reward matrix or decision matrix is built. And then to assign numerical values of these ideas, the Brianna has chosen a 4-point scale on his subjective comfort, whatever that means, and it is 100% or 100 is very comfortable, 80 relatively comfortable, 20 relatively uncomfortable, and 0 very uncomfortable. So these are just a scale that has been decided. So it's very subjective, of course, but so is the comfort itself. And then here, this is the key thing in this analysis. So all decision matrix techniques, they start with the decision matrix, and building the decision matrix is the difficult part. There you have to really think about and you have to incorporate all the ideas of what is good and what is bad in one matrix. And once this matrix has been built, then the rest of this decision matrix techniques is more or less calculations. So that's straightforward. But building this matrix is something where you should spend most of your time when you do your, for example, in your assignments for the course. And here it is. So let's read out loud what kind of decision matrix we have. So normal gear and the comfort it gives for dry weather is the best possible 100, but then rain, either calm and rain and either wind, it gives 0 comfort, so it's a very bad choice for those when it rains. Umbrella, for dry weather it's 80. I mean, it drops from 100 to 80 because it's slightly annoying to carry the umbrella, but it's okay still. Rain and calm also 80, the same thing, it's slightly annoying to carry it, but then if it's calm and raining, you basically stay dry, so it's a relatively good, relatively comfortable choice. And rain and wind it's 0 because then it's useless, the umbrella, when it rains. When it's windy. We assume it's so windy that the umbrella is useless. And then the raincoat, so it's 20 all around, so it's relatively uncomfortable, but in every weather it's the same. It doesn't matter whether it's dry, rain and calm, or rain and wind. Alright, so this is the reward matrix or decision matrix. And now, to make a decision, everybody makes a decision. We have to make decisions in our life, and usually we do them on emotional basis. So let's just assume that Brianna's feelings tell her to decide A2 umbrella. So that's emotional choice. Maybe this row here is the best one. But next, Brianna will be a bit more analytical, and she tries to analyze her choice or what would be her choice, and then check that whether this is the same as the emotional choice or intuitive choice. So here is, this is not much different, and here I'm just saying that we can model this if we want, that the intuitive choice, it's a value function, and a value function is 0 for all else but 1 for the choice, and then this fits into the modeling where the value of the choice will be the one that the value function gives the maximum. Okay. All right, so that was just recording this intuitive choice here. Nothing much here. But then, in addition to this intuitive choice, Brianna wants to analyze her decisions, its background and values. And as background, Brianna needs to decide how she reacts to uncertainty. So this is the key problem now. You have to decide, again, this is not something that you calculate, this is not a mathematical problem. You have to decide how to react to uncertainty. So the uncertainty here are the columns. And Brianna decides, so this really decides, it's not calculations, anything like that, but the decision, she wants to minimize her regret. And what is this minimizing the regret? It's a kind of ifs and buts thinking. So regret is what will happen when you do not choose the best alternative or the best possible choice for a given scenario. So the idea is that if you knew which scenario would happen, then you would have chosen something, and if you didn't choose that or something else, that incurs some regret to you. And formally, how do you calculate the regret? So if Rij is the reward associated with alternative AI, if the scenario Sj occurs, then the regret with the chosen alternative AI and occurred scenario Sj is Kij, which is I take the maximum of Rij, where I take maximum over all I, so all actions or all alternatives. So this is what we would have chosen if you knew that J would happen, and then we subtract the Rij. This is the reward we get because we chose I and J happened. So this is the regret that happens when we chose AI and Sj happened. And of course, if we knew what would happen, then we would chosen here the maximal value, and this would be 0. So no regrets if we had an oracle that would have told us what will happen. But of course, we don't have an oracle, so this may be something else than 0. And here is the so-called regret matrix. So in this matrix, so these are the Kij's. So for example, in normal gear and dry weather, we have no regrets because that's the best possible choice. But normal gear and rain and calm, this is 80 because we get reward 0, but we should have chosen umbrella, then that's 80. So 0 minus 80. Sorry, 80 minus 0, so this is the maximal, and this is what we get, that's 80. And the same way, normal gear and rain and wind is 20, because we get the reward 0, but if we would have known that it's rainy and windy, we would have taken a raincoat, so that would be a comfort 20, so we lose 20 comfort points. So then the regret is 20. And in the same way here, 20, 0, 20. So 0 here tells us that the umbrella is the best choice for rain and calm, and also raincoat. Here we see that the 0 here, so the raincoat is the best choice for rain and wind. So in the regret matrices, the zeros are the best choices, with no regrets at all. Okay, so what happens now? We have regrets, and we want to, usually we have a value function that we want to maximize, but in this case there we have a value function that we want to minimize. So we want to minimize the maximal regret. So the maximal regrets, so VI, MR, MR for max regret. For the alternatives are the following. So these are the values for the well, basically for the decision matrix, but now we have the regret matrix here. So normal gear gets us maximal regret 80. If this happens, umbrella gives us maximal regret 20 here and here, so that's 20, and raincoat gives us a maximal regret 80. In the case it's dry, just 80. So the minimal regret is 20 for umbrella, so we have reached the decision. So in order to minimize her maximal regret, Brianna Brisk has to choose the alternative A2, umbrella. So it turned out that Brianna Brisk is consistent in the sense that her intuitive choice was the same as a choice arising from this, and analyzing this problem with the minimax regret rule. Okay, that was all for this video lecture. Thank you for listening. See you in the next lecture. Bye.